Hi, Riley.
Hi.
We can hear each other now, huh?
Yes, I can hear.
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure we're going to get too many people here. So, all of a sudden, who else we got? All right. Roby. All right. We got Riley, Roby, and Bobby. Okay. Hi, Roby. Can you hear me, Roby? Need to unmute.
Okay.
I can hear you now, Roby. Everybody, you can hear me, Roby?
I can hear you.
Okay. Um, this this session here is a look at the test a little bit in terms of it's 50 questions, as you probably know, in 90 minutes. So you have about 2 minutes per question. It's true and false, and it's multiple choice, and there are no problems. The tests that I normally give are much more difficult, I think, than what you'll see tomorrow. What I like to talk about for a few minutes is if you know your debits and credits, you'll be able to answer probably 10 questions on the test. Some of the questions are simply, this account has a debit or credit balance. If you know that, you're a long way toward succeeding on the test. There are questions where they give you a transaction, and then the multiple choice answers are what went up and what went down. In other words, we paid the telephone bill. What happened? The expense went up and the cash went down. And know your classifications: assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, expenses. It's really, I don't think that tough a test, to be honest with you. There are some questions they're going to ask about chapter one, surprisingly, about the different steps of how we go about recording transactions, where you analyze, record, and classify, and all of that. A couple of questions in that area. A couple of questions, perhaps, about a corporation as opposed to a partnership, as opposed to a sole proprietorship. Those three types of businesses are for-profit businesses. For-profit. A nonprofit business would most likely be something like a charity or maybe a hospital, possibly something like that. So it's really not too bad. Anybody have any questions at this point?
Not I.
Okay. All right, so let me do this then. Let me share a screen here. Just give me one moment. Hold on here. I got to find this thing. Ah, that goes there. We're getting there. All right, I'm ready to share the screen here, I think. Hold on. Share screen, share and share alike. Hold on. Something giving me a little trouble here.
What was the matter with your mic yesterday?
Well, I took it up to Best Buy, and their best guess at Best Buy is that the antivirus program was acting up, so they removed that. And then the guy said it should be okay. But I've had that problem before, and it's been pretty embarrassing. Happened a couple times this semester. Hey, can you all see the screen now?
Yep.
This
Yes.
is the test that you guys took. This was your homework, this test. So, I mean, this is the type of thing you're going to be looking at. The T account. What's in a T account? Well, we know it's in the shape of a T. It better have a title, right? It's going to say cash or whatever the account is. And it has a credit side and it has a debit side. So it does not have a date on it. Okay? And these are the types of questions that are on the test. The test shouldn't be too much of a surprise. So we're good with a T account, huh? A T account. Let's see what else we have here. All right, Riley, you ready to answer number 2? I'll let you look at it for a second. Then you can blast your answer out into cyberspace.
Debit balances.
Yes, of course. Good. And you said it with a little bit of hesitation, but that's okay. We're getting there, right?
Yeah.
Debit balances, assets and expenses have a debit balance, right? Remember our mnemonic? After eating dinner, let's read comics. After eating dinner are your debits, assets, expenses, and drawings. And then let's read comics. Liabilities, revenues, and capital. All right. You want to try this one, Roby? I haven't even looked. This might be a tough one.
3.
Let's see here. I haven't read it. Accounts to 3. Accounts that affect owner's equity. You said 3?
Yeah, let's see.
The answer,
So
okay,
let's
well,
see. It's,
take a look at it.
expenses, capital, and revenue.
Pardon me?
Expenses, capital. And
Yeah, the answer would be D here.
mm-hmm.
D, expenses, capital, and revenue, right? What affects owner's equity? Really only a couple of things. The owner puts money in the business, okay? You made a profit, which means revenues and expenses. So the answer is D, okay? You good with that one, Riley? Okay. Increases are entered on the credit. All right, Riley, you're going to be my debit credit person in this brief meeting.
The liability account.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, because we just learned that after eating dinner, those are the debit. You are correct. Good, good. Number 5. All right, Riley. Roby, we'll go back and forth, okay? What does it say?
A credit. Is on the right side.
Yeah, boy, that looked like a tricky question at first, huh? You go through the first 3 and they're no good. Yeah, credit's on the right, debit on the left. That's all it means. There's no more to it. We're back to Riley. Oh, I love making you guys answer the questions.
A T account has a title, a debit side, and a credit side.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely correct. Title, debit side, credit side. I'm just looking at the other ones. Title, credit, okay. Very good. Riley, 2 in a row for Riley. I'm to you. Number 7, a cash payment on a loan. What does it affect?
On a loan. cash and notes payable.
Yes, that's what a note, excellent, very good. Notes payable. When you see the word note, that is a loan. It's different than accounts payable. Accounts payable, there's no written contract. It's all based on trust. You come to me to buy my product and I ship to you and I trust that you are going to pay me. If you don't pay me, I can come after you and try to get the money. But if you didn't pay a note, you're in bigger trouble. I can come to you a lot more easily. Okay. All right, Roby, you ready? What do we do with drawing?
Drawing account should be used to show how much the owner has taken out of the business.
Yep, that's all it is, huh? I'm just looking at the other answers just to make sure I don't see something different here. Yeah, drawing, that's for a small business, right? I don't know if I ever bored you real quick. My brother-in-law back in Pennsylvania, who lives with my sister in the house that I own, he never even went to high school. He had a family business with his mother and father. They had a bunch of stores. And when I asked him how he got himself paid, how much money he made, he just said at the end of the week, they just emptied the cash register. I mean, that's your classic drawing. That was basically how they ran the business. Obviously, they never needed to borrow money or get good financial statements. It was a gold mine. Debit. Riley, you ready for debits?
Yes. A debit is on the left side.
Yeah, I don't think the questions on the test are that much harder. My problems typically have about 40 multiple choice questions and maybe 3 or 4 problems. You want to take not the last one. Here you go, Roby.
Number 10.
Liabilities.
Liability owners' capital and revenues normally have credit balance.
There we go. You are doing very well here, both of you. Roby, you want to take the next one? Since you're so smart with credits. Go ahead.
Increase in an asset.
There you go, right? All right, Riley, want to try number 12?
Totals on the debit and credit sides to determine the balance of an account are known as footings.
Footings, yeah, we know that, right, Roby? The process of adding a column down is called footing. I don't know why they call it footing instead of adding, but footing is the word that I remember when I was in college. You want to try 13, Roby?
Okay. The fact that each transaction has a dual effect in the accounting provides the basis for what is called double entry accounting.
What did you say?
Double entry accounting.
Yeah, double entry. That's the key word, right, Roby? Double entry. Every transaction must have 2 accounts, a debit and a credit, okay? A debit and a credit. All right, what are we up to, 14? 14. All right, Roby. Try 14.
Right, an increase in an asset account may be offset by an increase in.
Hey, this is a good one, huh? What's your answer?
No, an increase in an asset account may be increase in owner's equity.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. That would be the only answer, huh? And that's even a little bit vague. An asset goes up, obviously an expense does not go up at the same time, okay? If an asset goes up, it's certainly not going to decrease owner's equity. It would only increase it. And
Right.
a decrease in a liability is not going to happen if you increase it. So yeah, process of elimination. Now that's a pretty good question. That one's a thinker. You ready for 15, Riley?
Yes.
The difference between the total debits and credits.
That is called the balance.
That's the balance, yeah. You add up each column, or to use their words, you foot each column, and the high man wins, huh? Whatever column has the highest number, that's where the balance goes. All right, Riley, number 16. The capital account.
Increases when the owner invests money in the business.
Yeah, exactly right. The capital account goes up if you make money, and it goes down if you lose money, which is an expense. Very good. All right, Riley, number 17. The normal balance of a capital account.
The capital account is a credit balance.
It is a credit balance. Yeah, a little hesitation there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think these are almost exactly similar to the questions on the test. I might be wrong in terms of how exact they are. All right, Roby, you want to take 18? Example of an expense.
Advertising.
Yeah, advertising, huh? Accounts payable is a liability, cash is an asset. Prepaid insurance is an asset. When does it become an expense?
As time goes on, I guess the value.
Yeah, I shouldn't have asked that. I'm getting ahead. I'm getting into chapter 4. Yeah, you're exactly right. Though as time goes on, we'll leave it at that. You want to try number 19, Riley?
Yeah, I can.
Revenues. That's the question. Revenues.
Revenues increase owner's equity.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wouldn't it be great if you had a revenue and it decreased your liabilities? Somebody pays us and then we don't owe anybody money. That's great. All right, Riley, you're going for 2 in a row. You ready? Number 20. Examples of revenue accounts include everything except which one?
Wages.
Yeah. How come wages? What kind of an account is wages?
An expense.
Absolutely. That's your salaries, wages. Salaries and wages. Expense. Roby, you want to take 21?
Revenues could decrease liabilities if you work off a debt.
Say that again, please.
Revenues could decrease liabilities if you work off a debt.
Let me think about that. Revenue? No, because the revenue and the expense involved would always take place before you're paying the note off. So when you're paying, if I understand your question correctly, you're saying if you're paying down a debt that might increase revenue, or someone's paying down a debt to you, that would.
If you owe money to somebody, and you say, "Hey, I'll mow your lawn for 3 weeks," in exchange, let's say you're a gardener, and you owe money to somebody, and say, "Well, instead of paying you this debt, I'll just mow your lawn for 3 weeks. I'll take care of your yard for 3 weeks. That'll take care of the debt." Wouldn't the revenue go to the gardener, and that would decrease his liability?
Yeah, there would. Let me. Okay, so you're saying you're going to mow the lawn, and he's going to pay you later.
No, he'll just cancel the debt.
I'm so sorry. Let me move over here so I can see you a little bit better. I'm just having trouble with my organizing my eyes and my ears. Here we go. Okay, Roby, talk to me one more time.
Okay, well, I lost the quiz on my screen here. I've got FedEx, pack and ship with FedEx.
How come you got that? You shouldn't have that. Hold on. How about that?
Here, yeah. So I'm a gardener, and I do gardening service for somebody, and he lends me some money.
He loans you some money.
Right, he loans me some money.
Okay.
I've got a liability there.
Right.
And I say, okay, instead of me paying you back, I'll take care of your yard for 3 months.
All right. Say no more. The reason. Yep. What you are going into chapter 4 and 5 now. You know what that's called? Unearned revenue. And you're going to learn all about that in a chapter. In other
Mhm.
words, this guy paid you in advance for the work that you're going to do, right?
Oh, all right.
Okay. When that's called unearned revenue. I'll talk about it for just a moment here, because that'll be your next homework assignment, maybe. That's in accounting. That's called unearned revenue. You go to a lawyer and you tell the lawyer, I need you to sue somebody, and he says, okay, give me $3,000 now, and then I'll get started. When he gets that money, that 3,000, that is not income. Believe it or not, that's a debit to cash and a credit to a liability account called unearned revenue. I don't want to confuse anybody, but that lawyer doesn't earn any revenue until he starts doing something for you. Does that answer your question okay for now, Roby?
Okay.
It's a real good question. Unearned revenue. We're up to what now? 21? Who's next? Roby, you want to continue? Number 21, an
The
investment.
investment of cash in the business by the owner. Well, it increases cash.
Yeah, that's all. You're good on that one, right, Riley? Increases cash. 22. Did you both do very well on this quiz? I hope.
Yeah, I did all right.
All right. Riley, talk to me. A purchase of an asset on account.
Um, um,
And what do we mean by purchase on account?
that you're going to pay it at a later date.
Exactly, on account, and nobody had money. Exactly. So let's look at them.
Increases assets.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We bought this, right? We bought an asset.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let them confuse you with all this double talk. We bought an asset. We didn't incur an expense. We bought an asset. That's not going to do anything with the owner's equity. Not decrease it. It'll increase it, if anything. Cash. All right, Riley, 2 in a row for you. Could you read the question out loud?
The purchase of an asset on account and making a partial payment results in all of the following except.
The purchase of an account on account and making a partial payment. Okay, go ahead. That's a tricky one, huh?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Well, let's look at it. Let's start from the bottom up. You bought an asset, right?
Mm-hmm.
So an asset went up. Did it increase owner's equity? The answer is, this is your answer here, right? Do you agree, Roby? That's the answer?
Yeah.
Kind of stuck on this one. Think of your accounting equation. You bought an asset, so the asset went up, and you made a partial payment, so cash went down. Well, let's see, that's correct. You're always going to be in balance.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, yeah. What happened? I'll say it the easy way. I'm sorry for stumbling around, guys. You bought something on account, and you made a little bit of a payment in cash. So when you bought the asset, you debited the asset, and you credited the liability. Assets equal liability. So it has no effect at all on owner's equity. Make sense, Riley? That's kind of a tricky one.
Yeah.
That was a tricky one. All right. Ready to try one, Roby, here? Purchase of an asset for cash, what?
Has no effect on total assets.
Right. Right. How come?
Well, you just trade cash for another asset.
Yeah, we understand that, right, Riley? Riley's looking a little bit mixed up. You bought an asset for cash. You bought a machine for cash, right?
Mm-hmm.
A machine is an asset. Would you agree?
Yes.
So what happened? The asset machine went up. The asset credit went down. You're right back where you started. The same total assets, you just have two different assets. You can call that, excuse me, a shift in the assets is a word I've seen once in a while, okay? 25, we're up to 25, huh? How the heck long is this thing? 25, Roby, payment of office rent, go ahead.
Let's see. Payment of office rent represents a decrease in cash.
You bet. Whenever you see, excuse me, whenever you see the word paid or payment, that was cash. Paid or payment means cash. On account means no cash. Oh, here's one for Riley. She likes the T accounts. Go ahead.
Footings and T accounts are unnecessary when there's only one entry.
No, I don't see. Hold on one second. Oh, this is a tricky one. Footings and T accounts. Let's eliminate the wrong answers, okay? Footings can be on both sides. You're obviously going to add the debits and credits, huh? They appear after each entry. Not necessarily appear only accounts carried over. Boy, I don't know about this one, Rob. You got any opinions on this one?
Yeah, this one's, I cheated and looked in the book, and the book says it's unnecessary where there's only one entry.
Okay. I guess what they're saying there is if you look at your T account, right, Riley, Roby? You look at your T account for a business and you have just one transaction, one entry. You debited machines and that's all that's there. Guess what? You don't have to add it. It's only one number. I think that's what they're talking about on that one. Let's look at the others real quick. Footings and T accounts appear only in accounts carried over from the previous period. Yeah, but it's also the current period. They appear after each entry, not necessarily. So I think you're good on that one. Boy, that was a tricky one. 26. I'm going to go back and look at that later on.
Aren't all accounts carried over from the previous period?
Footing and T accounts appear only in accounts carried over from the prior period. I don't really understand I don't understand what they're talking about here. In other words, you've got a very busy account like cash. You've got a lot of activity. The month ends, and now you're starting off with a single number there, a single balance. Yeah, I have to give this one a little thought. They're stumping the professor here for a second. So can I take the time a little bit later, and I'll get back to everybody on this one. Let's look at it again. It doesn't always appear on the right side. Footings are unnecessary when there's only one entry. I'm interpreting that to mean that's all there is in the T account, one entry. So you only have one number. Footings appear after each entry, not necessarily. It's either A or C. Do you remember if that was the right answer?
Yeah.
So this was the right answer from what you remember, huh?
C is the right answer. Unnecessary when there's only one entry. That's the right answer.
Okay, and that's what we're saying then, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a real dog of a question. I hope that's just as that's a bad question. I define a bad question if it confuses me. But that's not a good question. All right, Riley, the telephone bill. You just got the telephone bill in the mail and you immediately wrote a check, huh? You stuck on that one, Riley? Oh, is Riley frozen, Roby?
Oh yeah, it looks like she's muted.
I think she's frozen. Okay, I don't know if you can hear me, Riley, while you're frozen. Payment of a telephone bill represents an increase in a what, Ruby?
Expense.
Yeah. Uh-oh, we lost Riley. Uh-oh, you've come back, Riley.
She's muted still.
Yeah, here we go. Unmute, please, unmute.
Sorry, it was frozen.
We either figured you died or it was frozen. I shouldn't say that. I'll tell you something silly. I had a Zoom meeting a few weeks ago with friends from back east, some of whom are older than me. And the oldest guy froze on the screen with his eyes closed. And we were all thinking the same thing. Poor Jose just died in front of us, but he, like Riley, he came back to life. Okay. We were talking about the telephone bill, okay? Payment of the telephone bill is an expense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they had recorded that transaction on accounts, the payment would not be the expense. The payment will reduce accounts payable. Okay. Riley, you want to read this one here, please?
Okay. Falana receives payment for services performed in the amount of $3,147. This transaction increases cash.
Yeah, don't make it any harder than it is. As soon as you see the word receive payment, remember we said payment is cash. You're either spending it or you're getting it. Increase cash. Okay. All right, Riley, since you fell asleep on us, I'll give you number 29. You ready? Oh, geez, we're back to footings. Go ahead.
Footings in T accounts are used for accounts with more than one debit or credit.
Yeah, and that kind of solidifies our earlier answer, huh, Roby?
Yeah.
Yeah. In other words, at the end, there might be an account you don't use very much, right? You might have some kind of weird expense, charity, and you haven't even touched that account for a couple of years, and then you decide to give $100 to the Boy Scouts. You debit that expense, and that's the only thing sitting there. Okay. All right, you ready? Roby, what does the trial balance do for us?
Lists the accounts that are used to prepare the balance sheet.
What was your answer again?
Lists. No, I don't know. Maybe it either shows the current date or lists only accounts that are used to prepare the balance sheet.
The answer on this one here would be the date. Okay, it has a date, but it doesn't show just the debit balances. It shows the debit
that's right.
and the credit. There you go. And it lists all the accounts, not just the balance sheet.
Right.
Yeah, going forward, you're going to see something called a post-closing trial balance, but that's different, okay? Let's see what else we got here. Holy cow. Here we go. Wow, we're going to play insert the blanks, okay? All right, Riley, you do the odd ones, and Roby, you do the even ones. We're playing odds and evens. Riley, you want to try the first one? And I'll give you a hint. The answer is either debit or credit.
An asset account is increased with a debit.
No, that's right. You're correct. I'm only teasing. Go ahead, Roby. Let's roll through these.
Equity is increased with a credit.
Riley, next one.
To place an amount on the left-handed side of the T account is to debit the account.
All right, number 4.
Prepaid insurance account is increased by entering a debit.
Yep, that's an asset. Go ahead, Riley. Number 5.
The drawing account is decreased by entering a credit.
Aha, that's not correct. It's a debit. It's a debit, and that's the trickiest account. Equity and capital has a credit balance, right? Credit balance. When the owner draws money out of the building, out of the business, that's going to reduce the capital, right? We agree on that?
Mm-hmm.
Except we're not going to debit capital directly. We're going to capture those owners' drawings in a separate account called drawing. And that is a capital account, but it has a debit balance. It's called a contra equity account. So that's a tricky one there. Drawing definitely reduces capital, okay? But it does so with a debit balance. You drew the hard one, Riley. Number 6, Roby, accounts payable.
The accounts payable account is
You said a credit, I hope, right?
accounts payable account is decreased with a, let's see, accounts payable is a liability. So it's increased with a credit and decreased with a debit.
That's correct. I read increased by mistake. Go ahead, Riley, number 7.
The owner's capital account is increased with a credit.
Yeah, but then if the owner takes money out, the overall capital goes down, but we debit the drawing account, huh? All right, here we go. Number 8, Roby.
The wages expense account is increased with a credit.
Say that again.
Wages expense account, oh, is increased debit.
Yeah, it's an expense. An expense. Riley, number 9, fees earned. These are revenues, right?
Yeah, they're increased with credits.
And what about capital equipment there? Equipment, Roby.
Equipment account is decreased with a credit.
There we go. There we go. Wow, you had to do a lot of homework, huh? All right, we'll get through this here. Oh, for heaven's sake, we got to do matching. All right, let's ready to match. We're gonna go through this. Okay, the side. Let's see if we can do it without even looking at the possibilities. You want to take the first one, Roby?
Side that increased an account.
That's a good one. Here's your suggestions. What do we call the side of the T account that increases it?
It depends on what kind of account it is, doesn't it?
No. This is your normal balance. Normal balance. The side, and that's I'm glad they asked this one. You have an account, cash, right? Cash
Yeah,
has a debit balance, right?
right. So that's the
That
left
means
side.
that's the normal balance. The side of the T account that increases the account is called the normal balance. Make some
Okay.
sense, Roby?
Yeah.
Can be debit, can be credit. Well, if you put it, here you go, Riley. To enter an account on the right side, what did you do? Do you want to see the answers? All right. All right. Riley's frozen again. Poor Riley. You want to take this one, Roby?
All right. To enter an amount on the right side of an account is credit.
Here we go, credit. A tool used, let me read. Uh-oh, you missed that one, huh, Riley? You froze on us for a second.
But
Are
yes,
you good with the normal balance, Roby? Riley, what we mean by that?
yes,
And to enter an account on the right side is to credit.
yes.
A tool used to illustrate the double entry accounting system showing the title left side. Oh, we better look at the answers here. What do we call this kind of accounting?
Um, is this
Oops.
question for me or?
A tool used to illustrate the double entry accounting system showing the account title left and right. I think it's double entry accounting. Do you, Roby?
I think it's T account.
A tool used to illustrate the double entry, a tool. What do you think, Roby? T account?
T account.
I think you're right. I went way too fast. I just zipped right down. Yeah, the T account is a tool, just a piece of scrap paper where you can organize. All right, Roby, the difference between the footings,
That's the balance.
that would be the balance. Hold on, I guess I have to move this down a little bit, huh? All right, here we go. I want to see the word balance there somewhere. There we go. Perfect. Riley, the normal, here we go, Riley. What's the normal balance of, let's,
The credit balances.
there you go. You did very good. You didn't even need to see the answers, huh? Be the credit side. All right, Riley, if you're so smart, do the next one. The normal balance of,
The debit balance.
there you go. There you go. Roby, what do you got for this one here?
Um, I'd say it's a trial balance.
That's your trial balance, right? That's the list of the accounts. And the trial balance only does one thing for us, right? It just proves debits equal credits. And I'll say it for the millionth time. You're never going to have that problem if you ever go work here. The total dollar amounts on the debit and credit side, what do we call those? My goodness. The total dollar amounts on the debit and credit side. Oops. The total amounts. What do we say we call it when we add a column down, Riley?
The footings.
Footings, yeah, footings. You know, they still use that word all the time. No one ever in accounting ever says, did you add that down? It's always, did you foot that? All right, Roby, you want to take next last one?
Okay, I think that's double entry accounting.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one I thought was the answer to the other one. Double entry accounting. Did you know this system was invented by an Italian priest in the early 16th century? Did you guys know that? Probably not, huh? After Christopher Columbus discovered America in 1492, the world realizes they needed a way to keep track of their businesses. Okay, all right, Riley, take a deep breath on this one. This is a tough one. You ready?
To enter an amount on the left side of an account is to debit it.
There you go. You got it. This thing's playing tricks on me here. Come on. Why is this thing playing tricks? There we go. Debit, of course. Yeah. Debit. Debit, not T account. Debit. Oh, for heaven's sake. I want to find that word debit and put it in. Okay. Yeah. And believe me, this is going to be probably the hardest part of the test, this stuff, huh? Okay, that's the end of our test.
Okay,
Yeah. So that might have been a little bit helpful, huh, guys?
good practice, yes.
Do you have any questions on the first two chapters? The first, if you understand this chapter, you should automatically understand chapter 2. The only difference in this is chapter 3. The only difference in chapter 2, that was before you learned the words debit and credits. So there we were saying increase, decrease, right, Riley?
Yeah.
So on the test, you might get a question where it says, what happened to cash? And they're not going to ask you if it was debited or credited. They're going to ask you if it went up or down. They're going to say you borrowed money. What happened to cash? And now that you guys are so smart, going to chapter 3, you're going to right away say, oh, we got to debit it. And then debit's not going to be part of the answer. It's going to be increase, okay? Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Do you mind if I go into chapter 1 to show you a couple things that I think will help on the test? Chapter. Hold on here. Chapter. Let me get back in here. Get back into our class. Get back into chapter 1. Has Cengage been working reliably? You haven't had any shutdowns or anything?
No shutdown.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just go through this fairly. I just want to point out a couple. Oh, I want to go to chapter 1, actually. I'm sorry, chapter 1. Chapter 1 says you love it all your home. Boy, the New York Jets stink, Riley. Did you know that?
What was that?
Did you see the email I sent the class about this meeting? I ended it by saying one question has been answered. The New York Jets stink.
Oh.
Can you see the PowerPoint now?
Yeah, see, college
Okay.
accounting.
Okay. I'm just going to take us through this real quick, pointing out things that I think we want to emphasize a little bit, huh? The purpose of accounting, huh? We know what that is. Provide good information, good financial statements. Lenders need this information, right? Lenders, borrowers, investors, management, employees. Everybody needs accounting information, huh? Everybody. Who uses it? Everybody. Everybody, okay? The accounting process. Here, now when I teach this class, I don't go into this stuff too much, but we're using the generic test. So make a few mental notes on how we gather information. You analyze, record, classify, summarize, report, interpret. Analyzing, you look at what just happened, then you record it, and then you're going to sort things out. You're going to sort things out into expenses or assets, I guess. Summarize, put similar events, etc. They like to ask a few of these kind of things. So I would look at this. I would look at this slide when you're studying and get
It
a
all
good.
depends, Bob, is for the book.
Say what?
All I see is the cover of the book.
You don't see steps of the accounting process up here?
No.
Oh, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. What's going on here? Okay, hold on. We had this problem the other day, right?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Here we oops. Here for a minute.
Can we see it now?
Yeah.
Learning?
Learning one. Purpose of accounting, yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll stick with this format. Yeah, I was just, I didn't realize you couldn't see what I was looking at. Purpose of accounting, it's for everybody. Give proper financial statements to everybody, owners and managers and creditors, past and present. Nobody, no business can exist if they want to borrow money or invite investing without good financial statements. And here's what I was looking at just now. This is the type of thing they like to ask, the steps. You analyze what happened. You got the telephone bill in the mail. You read the telephone bill, that's your analysis. Here's my telephone bill. You record it. You enter it into your system. You either pay it or you put it into accounts payable. Then you classify things into different accounts, and then you summarize. My point is, this slide here is worth reviewing, okay? The steps of the accounting process. GAAP. What does that stand for, Riley? GAAP. Do you remember that?
General accepted accounting principles.
That is correct. That is correct. And I don't know if they're going to ask that or not, but I want to reinforce that. Generally accepted accounting principles. In one of my classes, I was a bit of a wise guy when I made the test up, and I had generally accepted accounting procedures, which is wrong, policies. And then the next answer was, procedures, the right answer. The fourth answer I put down was, grandma ate another peach. And one of my wise guy students picked that as the answer. generally accepted accounting principles. They're developed by the Financial Accounting Standards Board, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, FASB. And they identify an issue and they place the issue on the agenda and they research. And since I started teaching about 10 years ago, after being actually doing this stuff, I got back into the FASB world just a little bit. It's interesting to me how you might identify an accounting issue. And one was in regard to gift certificates that stores give out. It used to be they would give a gift certificate to people, and then if the people didn't use it, that was income for them. But because the people didn't use it, they weren't paying taxes on that income. So FASB called that an issue, and they set up procedures where stores have to estimate how many people are not going to use their stuff. Sole proprietorship, huh? Sole proprietorship, one person. Partnership, two people or more. Corporation, that's the one that sells stock to the public, right? 3 types of businesses. Sole proprietorship. The key thing with a sole proprietorship, you invested $1,000, Riley, right, to open up a business? You opened up a little business for $1,000, but it didn't go good. At the end of the year, you owed $1 million. The business was so bad. They can come after you personally for that money, not just your $100. Same thing with a partnership. Corporations, limited risk. If management botches things up, they can't be sued for that. Different types of businesses, service. In our book here, we're mostly service, and starting in chapter 6, we'll go to merchandising. Service business, service. Our services, we deliver pizza. We're architects, we're lawyers, we're accountants, a service. Merchandise means buying and selling something. Merchandising, that's Macy's, that's Nordstrom's, huh? That's Target. Manufacturing, you're building the product. Service business, here we go, we know what that is. Merchandising, you buy and sell. Manufacturing, and this is where I worked my entire accounting world until the last 5 years before I came up here. Career opportunities, I don't think there's going to be too much on this. The accounting clerks are the basic people. You can hire somebody right out of high school and do accounting clerk work, really. You record, you sort, you file. I mean, it's a good job to get started, believe me. I've seen a lot of accounting clerks who were going to college at the same time, and they ended up being my boss in a couple of years, okay? Accounting clerks. Bookkeepers, I would look at this just a little bit. Bookkeepers are higher than the clerk are the low guys, then next bookkeepers who do the entries. The paras, I've never even heard of a para accountant, but apparently that's a higher level bookkeeper. And then the accounting guys, these are the ones who design the system, they analyze, they look for trends, huh? Got to have a degree for that. Public accounting, private accounting, okay? And not-for-profit. Public accounting refers to the auditors. Public accounting refers to an accounting firm who you hire in your business to make sure your records are correct. Public accounting. Let's see if they go into a little more detail. Okay, here. Public accounting. These are your auditors. You own a company, you want audited statements, you have to call in Ernst & Young, an accounting firm, and they'll take care of that. CPA, Certified Public Accountant. Private is what most businesses are. Private. They are profit-making outfits, and they do all kinds of different things. Private would be a factory. Jack in the Box, huh? Non-profit. These are pretty much government, schools, churches, hospitals, nonprofit. The rules are a little different. Are you from around here, Roby?
Yeah, I lived here a long time.
Are you from around here, Riley?
No, I just moved here from Hawaii.
Oh, you're the Hawaiian girl?
Yeah,
Oh, Melikilikimaka. Did I say that right?
yeah.
Riley, will you forgive me if I say a bad joke about Hawaii? I
Yeah,
visited I visited Hawaii one time and I wasn't sure how to pronounce it. And so there was a guy from Hawaii walking down the street. I said, "Excuse me, sir. Can I ask you a question about how you pronounce this beautiful state?" He said, "Of course." I said, "Is it pronounced Hawaii or Hawaii?" He said, "It's actually Hawaii." I said, "Thank you." He said, "You're welcome." I get the feeling Riley heard that joke before, right?
yeah, I have.
I digress. And Roby's saying, "Oh my goodness, this is terrible." Okay,
I've heard that one
nonprofit.
too.
Yeah, these are people where when they say nonprofit, it means that they're not really there necessarily to earn a profit, but they're to serve the community. When I moved up, my last 5 years in the workforce, I was with the Santa Barbara Neighborhood Clinics. Are you familiar with those guys, Roby, in town here?
Yeah, I know who they are.
Yeah, I was their chief financial officer when they built the new clinics, nonprofit. All right, okay, you got to memorize this grid, right? I don't think you need to worry about this stuff. We just talked about this. This is a bunch of filler, filler. And that's pretty much it. So I think we've had a pretty good review for the test, no?
Thank you. Yeah.
You have any questions, Roby? Anything you want to talk about or?
No, looks good.
All right, Riley, what do you think?
Um, I have a question.
Go for it.
Is the test going to be like all multiple choice, or is it going to be like the quiz where it's majority multiple choice, but then there's some where you have to, like where we had to create the income statements and all
No,
the.
you don't have to do an income statement or anything like that.
Okay.
If it was my test, yes, you would
Okay.
have to do all that. But I think what's happening here because of the pandemic,
Mhm.
and we're doing it online. We had to go to to answer your question. It's all multiple choice, true false, as far as I know. Okay, 50 questions in 90 minutes. There's all kinds of tips on how to take the test. You know, if you know the answer right away, take 2 seconds on that one. There are others that might take a little more thinking. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So we call it a day then, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you guys, and good luck on the test. And I guess the next time we hook up is next Monday. Okay.
Right.
And you do know we have the tutoring available with me and Alan. Don't forget that too. Okay. You've gotten those hours. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Bye now. Sorry about the bad joke.
Oh, it's okay. Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.